I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
And they give those guys a little extra weight. Roger Craig, still on his feet, still running. What a run by Roger Craig. You'll never see a better one than that. From 46 yards. He has that thing of getting those knees high and keeping the shoulders low. And he makes every team look like they're bad tacklers. Watch the way he gets that high knee action, keeps those feet going like two pistons. Then, at the same time that the knees are going high and keeping going, the shoulder can get low to take on a tackler.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait.
Are you kidding me? Do you believe it?
Do you feel it? That's right. The NFL draft got underway last night. Yeah, there was some NBA playoffs, three game sixes in the first round. All of them were decided series. But the draft is where we cook and get our action. Good morning. Welcome to the fantastic Friday edition of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. I am the last part of that name, Cole Johnson. My esteemed partner, still healing from his cancer surgery, and he's doing fine, convalescing at home. He might return sooner than we think. And when he does, man, will I be happy. But it looks like I wasn't going to be alone today anyway, because joining me at the bottom of this hour, hopefully, is Sam with the Shady Sports Network. We'll break down USFL action, and we'll get his thoughts on the draft as well. Hopefully, the top of the second hour, we'll have Ben Southern III. We'll talk Mavericks with him and talk Cowboys, see if he's happy with how the draft has gone so far with him. And then into the Boom Shakalaka, hopefully, at the bottom of the second hour with one Chris, all about that bass. And if you aren't tuned into him, believe me, the laughs come fast and furious. Now, you can join us live, and you can be like my man Sig Diggy, like my man Sam of the Shady Sports Network, like my man Ryan, like my man Andrew, like my new family member Ethan, or that critical Broncos fan, or Nate, or Trisha, or Aunt Trisha, or Latina. You could be any amongst those numbers, or my man Andrew, any one of them. All you have to do is go on youtube.com and type Snowman in the Morning 50. That's Snowman in the Morning 50, Snowman in the Morning 5 to the 0. And you will be amongst us, and you can chime in because we encourage interaction. We love to hear what you all think and what you all have to say. And when you're there, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you can get all content that comes from here. Well, not only will I have guests that will join me, I will also have the wonderful, esteemed pleasure of having someone join me today, and that man is Wise El Jefe. How you doing?
What's going on?
Man. Well, I'm glad that you're joining me on a Friday.
Oh, well, listen, I got out of work early, and I was like, the draft was yesterday. There was some real good things that went on, and so I'm here to talk about it.
Okay. All right. Well, then we are definitely going to talk about this now. So you are a Giants fan, correct?
Yes, I am.
I would have to say, if I were to be sitting in this seat, you would have to be happy with what happened in the first round.
Bro, I am ecstatic with what happened in the first round.
Yeah.
We addressed needs. We got the edge rusher that we needed in the kid in Oregon, because this kid is a beast.
Good. Yes, Thibodeau is a beast. Yes.
So we addressed that because the Giants has always been known to have that edge. In our Super Bowl years, we had those edge rush. We had Strahan, we had Uzi, we had all these other different pieces.
Right.
And we've been lacking that. Even though Leonard Williams has been tremendous up the middle,
right,
he's not that edge rusher.
Right.
So to get that edge rusher for us was a big deal. And then addressing the offensive line need with a stud from Alabama.
Oh my gosh, Neal is a beast. He is an absolute beast. The moment I saw the two picks, and if you heard the broadcast yesterday, I said the Giants in the the two picks they have within the first 10 selections of the draft, I said they have to address it by having an offensive lineman, hopefully an offensive tackle, but an offensive lineman for sure, and an edge rusher, because they haven't and I remember saying this, they haven't had an edge rusher since the days of Michael Strahan and Osi Umenyiora and Jason Pierre-Paul. And look what they did. I actually have to applaud them. They did exactly what they were supposed to do.
And now with not picking up the 5th-year option on Daniel Jones, they're showing him that, listen,
yeah,
you either come through, and they did it smart, because now look at the other people who decided to pick those 5th years options. Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Now what Cleveland can't do anything when they release him. That's giving away him for nothing.
Right.
And then who was the other quarterback that Darno.
Mm-hmm.
Without even playing a game, the Panthers picked up his 5th-year option, and look at him now. He wasn't the answer. So I'm happy with what the Giants are doing. They're showing they're listening to him, Danny Jones. Show us you are the franchise quarterback, and we will pay you.
Yeah, this is something I had to ask about Danny Dimes. It sort of is okay, we seem to have some faith in you now. Do you think they feel as though they can ride with him in the immediate future?
Listen, the kid can play. He has, besides the fumbles and not having an offensive line and missing Saquon Barkley and injuries all over, he's got pretty decent stats besides the 18 fumbles. Take that away. As far as passing, he has a cannon of an arm. Yeah. People don't give him. He's more athletic than what people give him credit for.
Yeah.
He has a motor.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. He's a pocket passer, but if the play breaks down, he can go.
Right.
So he has the tools. Now he hasn't had the consistency, because look, he's had 3 offensive coordinators the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, that does not bode well for any quarterback.
Who's going to succeed with every year you have to learn a new system?
Mm-hmm.
So they've hindered his growth with the inconsistency as a franchise in a whole,
which is really strange. That is strange to say for a Giants organization, because normally they have been one that,
well, the last few years they've been in disarray.
Right.
David Gettleman was not the answer.
Well, yeah, he definitely wasn't. But when you think about the Giants, you think about a franchise, especially with the Maris family owning them. You think about sort of this consistency that they want to be a power running team on offense, show that they're physical, and then they want to show that they can get after the quarterback with the defensive line and maybe have a stud linebacker to boot. And you said it best. After the 2011 season, when they hoisted when they hosted the Vince Lombardi Trophy for the last time in the franchise's history, it's as if they took a hard left turn. And yeah, they don't resemble the team that I was accustomed to seeing. And I would. Not even being a Giants fan, it frustrated me seeing how the Giants were operating as of late. So I can only imagine being in your shoes as a Giants fan, how you want to throw your fist through a TV screen whenever you saw Dave Gettleman on it.
I have a friend at work, and his saying, "In Gettleman we trust," and I would be like, "I don't trust Dave Gettleman as far as I could throw him, which isn't pretty far," and so.
Right.
But now he's like, "Oh, Gettleman. I'm like, man, I told you this when we hired him. He wasn't good in Carolina. What made you think he was going to produce here in New York?" That's what amazes me with these franchises, that they keep retreading the same old people.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with the direction they went with now, even though with all the nonsense with Brian Flores. They got a young GM that is coming from a franchise that's been in the ups lately as far as success with drafting and making the right trades. and then you get a head coach that is coming from a pretty good pedigree as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Sick. Good one to you. And he says, "What's good, everybody? Good morning, Vietnam."
One and six. What's going on?
All right. So let's address the other New York team because they also had two picks within the top 10 of the NFL draft in the first round. And they seem to do pretty well too because they also, I guess, to look at exactly how they did, they drafted a defensive player, of course, Sauce Gardner, who was considered the best corner.
Yeah.
And they decided to get a wide receiver with their offensive choice. Uh, you being near New York now, I know you've been in New York, and I know New York is in your blood.
Yeah.
Uh,
I followed it. No, listen, I actually went to a Jets game last year, so I followed the Jets. Like I said, I follow my teams. I'm a New York guy, so I follow the sports in New York. So I'm actually happy with their picks, man. Like Sauce Gardner, it helps with the signing that they did with DJ Reed. So that shores up that secondary somewhat.
Yeah.
And now you're adding a weapon for your young quarterback.
Right.
And this kid, from the tapes that I've seen, this kid is phenomenal.
That's the one thing that I know the Jets have been missing for years. A wide receiver who can stretch the field. So now you have that.
Yeah.
And then, oh wait, there's more. The Jets decided to trade back into the first round and they get a pass rusher. So, like, man, it looks like the Jets do not want to be the same old Jets. At least the way last night has played out.
The last couple, I'm actually last year with the hiring of Robert Saleh.
Yeah,
I like that pick.
I did too.
I did
too.
So he finally got to pick his head coach. He was, because prior to that he inherited what he had, and so I like the moves that they're making. People are down on Zach Wilson. Listen, the kid is still young. They didn't really have a lot to go with. They listen, the draft picks that they made last year were some real good picks.
Yeah, they were.
Michael Carter is going to be a great running back. He's going to be a really good running back.
I agree.
He can do it. He can do it. He can run it, and he can do it catching the ball. So he gives you a multifaceted running back. Yeah. Michael Carter too on defense. So they drafted two Michael Carters.
Two Michael Carters.
And he's a pretty good defensive player as well. They made some of the players that they drafted last year were key contributors and are growing. So they're in the right direction as far as really getting talent in the draft instead of going out and signing free agents that just don't pan out.
Well, you have to. Well, I think people have to understand this. This is a team that actually did beat the eventual AFC champs. So that should show you that they're on their way up. And I got a chance to see them. Well, it was on TV though, but I got a chance to see them when they played the Titans since, well, I live in Nashville. And they beat the Titans. What I loved about what I saw from the Jets was they just had this never surrender, never quit mentality. So I was thinking, okay, so they don't believe that they're the worst team in the league, and they don't believe they're the lower end of the tier when it comes to the NFL teams in New York. They actually feel as though they got fight in them. They believe they can win games. I loved that. I loved the fight that Saleh put into the team. And I only could see them be better, personally.
And again, you bring in. It starts with the coaching, man.
Yes, it must start there.
And
yes.
Adam Gase to me was I can't he just
don't get me started on Adam Gase.
So like when you make decisions like that to bring people like that in, it just blows my mind. Like why? He just failed in Miami.
Horrible.
So you bring him to the major market to what? for what? So
fairly, but more
yeah,
spectacularly than
so
he did
now
in Miami.
they finally got the right football people in the spots they need to get the football people in. So I'm happy. I'm happy for them. Listen, for me, whenever New York sports teams do well, it's a good time.
Yeah. And if these wonderful picks pan out, I really believe the Big Apple's going to be seeing some good football in MetLife Stadium, whether it is the Giants or the Jets.
That's hopefully.
Yeah, and I know this will probably ruffle feathers. I don't cape for New York, but I know how the needle moves when it comes to sports. When their teams do well, the interest goes up. That's just how it rolls. Sorry, that's just how it goes. All right. So, did you agree with the number one overall pick?
Yes.
The Jaguars
Yes.
picking up Trayvon Walker.
Yes.
Speaking of pass rushers, they got their edge rusher from University of Georgia.
Georgia.
Oh God, they cleaned up.
The reason they were national champs.
Yep.
5 defensive players taken in the first round.
Yes, that defense was awesome. Yes.
5.
Mm-hmm.
That's unheard of.
Yes. 5 players is unheard of. 5 on the defensive side is even more
on the defensive side of the ball. Like you usually get a combination of probably a receiver here, quarterback or something, tight end or whatever. But you got 5 defensive players gone.
5. It's amazing. It is amazing. So yeah, the Jaguars opened it up by drafting defensive end Trayvon Walker. The Eagles picked up defensive tackle Jordan Davis. The Packers picked up linebacker Quay Walker. Devontae Wyatt, another defensive tackle. He got picked up by the Packers as well. And the Minnesota Vikings decided to say, well, we'll pick up a bulldog ourselves too. And they picked up safety Lewis Seen. And I have to applaud Georgia. I think now, I know we're not talking college football, but I'm thinking now the blueprint to beat Alabama is to stack your defense with athletes. And it almost harkens me back to, and probably you too, because you're in the same generation as me, back to the U days where they just churn one defensive player after another, and you think to yourself, how are they getting these athletes there? And then they come to the pros and they actually turn it out, just one after another. And there's some on offense too, of course. Michael Irvin and Reggie Wayne.
You're not kidding. Look at the names you got. Warren Sapp.
Yeah.
Big Jerome Brown.
Right.
You've had even celebrities, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was part of that. He was part of that team with Warren Sapp.
Mm-hmm.
You have how could I forget Ed Reed?
Yes. One of the best safeties ever.
My boy Sean Taylor.
Yes. Man, he would have been one of the best safeties of all time if he kept playing.
It's so many defense. Listen, it was at one point it was like their defensive linemen were going either 1, 2, or 3. It was Miami was put. Oh, Ray Lewis, yes,
Yeah.
Ray Lewis.
Yeah,
the U put out players. The
did.
U put out players. So
yes, they did. They did. They definitely put out players. So it made me think when I saw that many in the first round for Georgia go off the board. I'm thinking, oh man. So they know what to do. They're trying to draft athletes on defense there, and somehow they have the right talk about coaching. They have the right coaching and recruiting for them to get the right athletes to their program to actually churn out possible pros. And now we will see how that will go. Sick also said the Canes knew how to produce players for the league. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. You are correct, sir. Sick also says, given my accounting background, I'm curious to know how the financial office of each franchise operates, especially with the signing, salary caps, etc. I'm glad you actually said that, Sick, because it segues me into, I think, the move in terms of trade of the draft, and that is the Eagles. So they called the offices of the Titans. They said, we're looking for a wide receiver, but I think we want to take AJ Brown off your hands. And we'll trade have you trade up in the first round and give you another pick too in this year's draft. What do you say? The Titans said, sure. And so AJ Brown is now an Eagle. And along with it,
$100 million.
Yeah, about to say that along with it, he got $57 million guaranteed with a 4-year, $100 million extension. And I didn't see the details of it. I just saw AJ Brown is an Eagle. Okay, well, what the heck did the Titans? Why the heck did the Titans want to give him up? And when I saw 4 years, $100 million extension with $57 million guaranteed, I was like, aha, that's why.
But I like, listen, this year was the year. If you was going to trade one of your if you was going to trade your star receiver, this is the year to do it.
Be the year.
Because this draft
you would pick up a receiver too.
Deep in receivers.
That's exactly what the Titans did. They ended up picking up a receiver themselves.
Who's pretty good. He's not.
Yeah.
He was the top fifth ranked receiver in the draft. So and the guys ahead of him are pretty good.
They were. They were. So I think that's what the Titans eyed. They was like, okay, well, I think we'll pick up a young stud at wide receiver ourselves. And we could part with AJ, sure, no problem. And I think that's a good. And look, I saw a clip actually of Treylon Burks, the draft pick that the wide receiver that the Titans picked up, and I actually saw him. This was a game in Alabama, and I saw him separate himself from 3 different defenders, and I'm saying, wow, this guy has a burst. Whoever gets him, he might cause some problems for some secondaries. The issue I only have with the Titans is, can you make hay with Ryan Tannehill? But I will table that for another time.
Listen, right now, Ryan Tannehill he is what he is. He's a serviceable quarterback. He's going to get you to the playoffs. He's not going to be the one to lead you to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He'll get you to the playoffs every year. He's consistent with what he does. But yeah, no, you really eventually you're going to have to find your franchise quarterback because you gave up on Mariota. He's now in Atlanta who's trying to resurrect his career. And so we'll see. Maybe I like the pick. I like them picking them up. Like I said, this draft was if this was the year you was going to get rid of your star receiver,
this would be the year.
It would be this year.
Yeah. And to speak more on now AJ Brown being an Eagle is our USFL/NFL correspondent to Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. He joins us every Friday around this time. Sam Shady of the Shady Sports Network.
What's up, guys? How's it going today?
What's going on?
Everything's good. All right. I will lay out and let you gawk at actually how the Eagles did in last night's draft.
Oh, well, I want to preface this by saying I'm extremely excited. We filled 2 big needs for us. Obviously, getting Jordan Davis was huge. Jonathan Gannon's defense is predicated off of big men eating up blocks in the middle, and he's one of the guys that's going to be able to do that. Fletcher Cox has never quite fit our defense in terms of eating up blocks. He's more of a pass rusher. He's a smaller defensive lineman. So bringing in a guy who's 6'3", 343 pounds, that dude's a space eater. He's going to eat up blocks. Like I said, he's going to keep TJ Edwards clean. He's going to allow Edwards to flow around the field and make tackles and big plays. So I'm a huge fan of that. It was kind of a surprise to see us move up. Quite honestly, I thought after the trade with the Saints, I thought we'd stand pat and just select at 15. Ultimately, we thought Baltimore was going to take Davis at 14. I would have been okay with Hamilton at 15, but they traded up 2 spots, gave up a 4th, 2 5ths to get Jordan Davis. And then the move that you just spoke about, AJ Brown, not Green. Sorry about that.
It's hard. Sometimes I do too. Slip that way.
I almost wrote an article with it, AJ Green, the title. I was like, oh my God, here we go. But anyway, AJ Brown is a huge addition. If you look at the other trades this offseason, we saw as Devontae Adams fetched a first and second round pick and then immediately was signed to, I think, a 5-year, $140 million deal with $62 million guaranteed. We saw Tyreek Hill, same thing. He fetched 5 picks for Kansas City. He went to Miami. He signed a 4-year, $120 million deal. Average of $30 million a season with, I believe, $72.5 million guaranteed. And then we get AJ Brown for a first and a third. We give him $100 million for over 4 years and give him $57 million guaranteed. So if you look at the age, the cost, I think this was a huge move for the Eagles. I mean, we've been striking out on wide receivers all offseason, so it was a big deal for us to get somebody in there.
Yeah, I will definitely say that was a steal. Look, when I saw literally when I saw the name AJ Brown, I didn't see the details of the trap. When I saw the name AJ Brown, the two people I immediately thought of were you and my man Cool McCain, who of course is another Eagles fan, who he says AJ Mother Loving Brown. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. No doubt. I actually messaged Cool to see what he thought about it off screen. So I guess that's a reassurance that he's also excited about the move.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because I said, I think this is what the Eagles needed. I think it's better that y'all have a proven wide receiver that has done it in the league and not have the feeling that you had when you drafted Rieger, where you cross your fingers hoping that he will blossom and he doesn't materialize the way Eagles fan would want.
Exactly. That's a big reason why I'm a fan of the trade. And the dude's still young. He's only 24 years old.
Yeah, he is not old. Exactly. Yeah, that's the scary part. He's not in his prime yet.
Yeah.
And the dude is a beast. Yes. Yeah. I know that from watching him a few years here in Nashville. Yeah, you got a good one. Ooh, I'm happy for Eagles. I'm happy for all of you Eagles fans. Seriously. You got a good one.
I appreciate that.
6 says, Wise. Bill Goldberg also played for Georgia and the Falcons before his rest of career began, which is true.
Yes, he sure did.
Ryan, good morning to you, sir. Good morning to everyone watching. He says, happy Friday, and what a first night of the draft.
Yes, sir.
It was.
Well, okay. Well, I have a question to ask you, Ryan. Are you suffering now, sir? You might have to say JETS is just end the suffering instead of endure it. I think that's a good thing for you, brother. That the draft the Jets had, whew,
yes, sir.
To me, it's on par with the Eagles as the two teams that I believe did the best in the draft, with the Giants just barely underneath them. But the Giants did exactly what they're supposed to do. They filled needs.
I agree. Yeah, actually, those would have been my top 3 teams for the draft and what they got out of it. The Jets, I was really, really interested to see them trade back into the first round. I did not see that coming. We actually have a member of my little media group that did a reaction video, and he had to go back and redo his reaction video because he didn't expect the Jets to come back in the first round anyway. So that's awesome. Actually up on the channel now. If you're a Jets fan, go ahead and check that out.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was a fun draft to watch. I mean, I don't know how you guys felt, but there was a lot of trades, a lot of shakeups.
Go ahead, Wise.
Well, I kind of expected a lot of trades. There was always there was a lot of movements in free agency, so you knew there was a lot of teams that needed to address. Like, I live in northeast Pennsylvania, so I work with a lot of Eagle fans.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I came into work this morning,
so do I.
They were celebrating. They were chirping and harping and everything. But it's good. It's always good. I love to see because it's better when the NFC East is competitive. It's better when we come and we beat the crap out of each other every single year. That's to me. This is the best division. I'm biased, I guess, but to me, it is the best division.
NFC East. Yes, I'm sure you're biased. I'm sure Cool and Sam are too. Yes.
But to me, it's just when the Eagles, Washington, Dallas, and Giants are all doing well, those are some of the best games you can watch.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're great rivalries in the NFC East for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although some Broncos fans might argue that the AFC West is actually the best division this season.
Oh, this year, they're the best with the quarterback.
Oh,
yeah, they have the stud quarterback.
Just look at quarterbacks, and I would have
Yes,
to say,
sir.
yeah, they're the best in the league right now. But yeah, in terms of attention, yeah, in NFC East, if all 4 teams are mediocre at worst, and there's a couple of good, yeah, we'll be talking about them all season long.
Yes, sir.
6 says, Cole, like I said the other day, there won't be limousine riding or jet flying. There will be possible kiss stealing and a whole lot of wheeling and dealing in the draft. Woo! Yes. And I to piggyback off of Wise with this, I felt there was going to be some dealing considering how active the free agency period was. And the thought that I had was, what team was going to part with a wide receiver because they will be in the Packers position or the Chiefs position where they have a stud, but they don't want to extend themselves and go over the cap trying to re-sign them. And so it ended up being the Titans, and Eagles ended up being the beneficiary. And man, I feel really good for Jalen Hurts.
Absolutely. Me too. I have a question for you guys. What did you make of the fact that the Titans traded away Brown and then immediately drafted Burks?
And
Go ahead,
that's what I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
If you was going to trade your star receiver, this would have been the draft to do it, because this draft was loaded with receivers that have that are amazing talents.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 that went consecutive with the Jets, the Saints, and Lions, all 3 of them started out in Ohio.
Yep.
Yeah, all of them did,
and they still got some more coming up.
Yep.
So
That's
this
crazy.
was the draft, and then they went, and then you get the Titans draft number 19, the kid from Arkansas. There's still some more out there. There's some more, this was the draft. If you was gonna trade your stud receiver, this was the one to do it, because this draft is deep in receiver.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Did we see 6, I think, go in the first round? Double check my math there. I think it's 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Is it 6 or 7?
6.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
6 wide receivers. But still, that's a great total.
Yeah.
For a league that seems to be ripe with having wide receivers like these come into the league. My opinion was, like I said, I knew teams were going to wheel and deal, to borrow what Sick was saying, because of the fact that Devontae Adams basically literally blew up the NFL in terms of what a wide receiver feels as though they deserve to have financially. And then it was fortified by Tyreek Hill's move. So it made me think, okay, so which teams are going to say, well, I think we'll be financially better if we got a stud from the draft instead of keeping the elite stud we got now and having to pay him outside of the rookie deal he's on. And like I said, it ended up being the Titans to do it. And I love Burks. I love Burks. I love what he could do. He could do things similar to what Brown could do. The only difference is Burks doesn't have the ability to block yet in the running game.
Yes.
But with the Titans the way they are, I think that will not be a problem.
Agreed. I was actually kind of surprised to see the move, only because of the fact that they're so similar. I mean, I get the thought process by the Titans that they don't want to pay the man.
Right.
But it was more surprising from the Eagles side, to my opinion. Because honestly, like you said, Burks is a lot like Brown. So we could have just selected Burks and not given up that 3rd round pick and had 2 in the 3rd round. But ultimately, we get Brown. Like you said, he's a proven guy. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'd rather have the proven commodity here.
So Sam, what do you do now with Cox?
I think he still starts in year 1. I ultimately think
because I know y'all released him and y'all re-signed him back again.
Yeah,
and he's an Eagle for life. He's one of the best Eagles of all time, man.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I figured. But when they drafted that beast in the middle, man, the writing was on the wall. This is like probably his last year in Philly.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that ultimately after this season, we're going to see Cox leave. Jordan Davis was obviously drafted to ultimately replace him. But I think the reason that Cox is still going to be a prominent player in 2022 is because of the fact that Davis can play both the A gap and the B gap. So he can just sub in as the third defensive tackle off the bench. He can take Cox's position when needed. He can take Hargrave's position when needed. And, you can actually even kick Cox outside to end. I know that's kind of a controversial subject, but he has played end before in a 3-4. We are looking for bigger defensive ends. So maybe in a rundown, you could see Cox kick out to end. He didn't like the way he was used last season, probably because he was trying to two gap, and he's not the player to do that. But it'll be interesting to see either way, because, there's a possibility that Cox gets traded. It's out there. But at the same time, I don't think it happens. I think he ultimately starts the season.
I like the versatility that they can provide this year on the defensive front. And 100% agree with you, Sam. The only reason why I did not like Fletcher Cox in that system was that he just did not eat enough space.
Yeah.
And if you get like now you can play 4-3 if you want to, and you can have the two of them on the same line. And like you said, the controversial thought of you can move him to the edge. Although I wouldn't want to move Cox to the edge, but you could now.
Yeah.
But the possibility is there, and that helps, I think, a team in the Eagles the way they want to attack, which is they want to attack you different ways.
Mm-hmm.
It helps. It helps. And I always say this: if you can get a space eater, get them. Get them, because you want to have somebody who can take up 2, if not 3 offensive linemen, because it frees up everybody else beside him and behind him.
Absolutely. We saw Hargrave had a solid season last season. He was one of the top sack artists through the first few games of the season. So I'm interested to see what they're able to do with Davis there, Cox there, Hargrave there. I think our interior pressure is going to be impressive this season.
Oh, gosh, yes. Oh, cool. Talking about A.J. Brown, he says, we did a draft show last night, and I mentioned A.J. Brown over 50 times.
Sorry I missed it, Cool. I'll catch you next time for sure.
He also said that the Jets did a great job. Giants as well, I agree. Yeah, they both did. Both New York teams should be proud of what they did in the draft last night.
Agreed.
Y'all making it sound like it's over, man.
No.
Rounds 2 and 3.
I know. Rounds 2 tonight.
It's
and 4 through 7 tomorrow. I know.
And this is a deep draft, man. It's like, and some of these, like, Philly still got a bunch of picks to go,
True.
right? Jets still have picks to go. It's going to be interesting, man. That, like, these are the rounds where you really build your team. These are rounds where you really get those real plugins that no one really, like, oh yeah, they were on the bubble, but this is where you really your scouting really comes into play.
Right. Yeah, because here it's all about the steals and draft of players that teams passed up on for whatever reason, but you feel as though this guy can make an impact on your team. And of course, in rounds 4 through 7, that's where you build your depth. So yeah, I know it's not over. I definitely know it's not over. But you also know, because this is not your first rodeo too with this, how the first impression is made tells a lot.
Yeah. No. You can. They started off on the right foot, definitely. Right. All like those 3 teams, the Eagles, the Jets, the Giants. They started off on the right foot.
Yes.
The Eagles, that was a steal of a trade. That,
for
me, was a steal of a trade.
Yeah.
You get a receiver in his prime.
Yes.
Like just hitting his prime. Just hitting his prime.
Mm-hmm.
You added what Jalen Hurts needed. You gave him that deep threat, that weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully Miles Sanders can stay healthy, and he can give you the back that
production in the backfield.
Yeah, he can be that back that you want out there. And they've made some real good picks the last couple of years to plug in holes that they had before. So and I love their tight end. Their tight end is one of the best in the NFL. So they've done things. So now with adding Brown, you give Hurts that deep threat, but now you open it up also for your tight end. You open it up for your running back out the backfield. So it helps. It's a big plus for them, and I'm kind of worried because of being a Giants fan, we got to face them twice a year. So it's all good, but I'm looking forward to the season.
Yeah. I would have. I came prepared when I went to sleep this morning to say, well, I think the Eagles won night one, and then when I wake up this morning finding out that the Jets trade back in the first round and got a third piece, I was like, well, I can't say that the Eagles took it, but they're the co-winners to me.
And no, and the crazy thing was that guy the Jets picked up, he was supposed to be a top 10 pick.
Right. And he dropped very far. He dropped very far. He dropped further than what people expected.
Right. So for the Jets to make that move and come up and get him when he is supposed to be one of the top 10 players in the draft.
Yeah.
At the spot that they got him, oh man, you address the need they need.
Yeah,
that they've needed forever,
for years,
forever. Yes. They've since probably Gastineau. They haven't had a they haven't. They
but
really
true.
haven't had that. They haven't had no one like that.
Yeah, it's true. They haven't had a pass rusher.
They've had linebackers. They've always had linebackers.
Yeah,
Mo Lewis to Bart Scott. They've always had linebackers. They've never had that edge rusher to get to the quarterback.
True. Not since Jonathan Abraham, anyway.
Yes, yeah. And then what they do, they traded him to Atlanta.
Traded him.
Yep,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, so
true. Honestly, like you said, I'm quite worried about the Giants at this point. I know that they didn't sign Danny Dimes to his 5th-year contract or 5th-year option. Sorry about that. But yeah, at the same time, that draft they had, those first 2 picks, they're stout players, man. I'm a little worried. The NFC East is definitely going to be competitive this year. Although I have said it before, and I'll go ahead and say it again, this is going to be a bold prediction, but I think the Eagles are going to be in the Super Bowl running this year. AJ Brown was kind of that missing piece, and I know a lot of people are going to say otherwise. We were only 9-8 last season, but that was with subpar receiver play. We now have Zach Pascal in town. We now have AJ Brown. Jalen Reagor, a former first-round pick, might end up our 5th receiver this year. So that should tell you how deep we are at receiver now. I'm super excited for the season for sure.
The only issue now I have with the Eagles is if their defensive play overall can stabilize itself. Because what I saw last year was that there's times where they actually played as though they're a really good, solid unit, and there was other times where you thought, do they even try to communicate with each other?
Yeah, exactly. I think part of that was due to the fact that Gannon was trying to plug people into places that they didn't necessarily fit. He was trying to make do with what they had on defense. We didn't make a whole lot of moves last year to bring in players for his scheme. I think the rest of the draft is going to bring us a lot of defensive talent. I expect us to draft a cornerback. I would hope that we address the safety position once again. We could use some linebackers, defensive end depth. So literally every position except for tackle, which we've already addressed. So it should be a fun rest of the draft, although now we have very little picks. I think we only have 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, none in the 4th, none in the 5th, and then we'll be picking in 6th and 7th. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Ryan says, brother, I was so wired from watching that first round that I didn't sleep until 1 a.m. They addressed every need in the first round and still had 5 picks to continue the building depth. Talking about the Jets. Yeah, I would be excited for you too, bro. I mean, Ryan, I'm telling you, the Jets, I think they might be on their road back. Just judge about how they maneuvered last night. They look pretty good. Of course, it's led by Robert Saleh at head coach. Yes, I agree.
100%. It's going to be fun to watch that defense.
Oh gosh, and I saw the makings of how they would play last year, and I'm thinking, they get a couple more pieces. They actually might be one of those defenses the rest of AFCs do not want to see.
Listen, they stepped when they played the Bengals. They played a hell of a game against the Bengals. They played a hell of a game against the Titans.
They did,
and then there was just certain games that it seemed like they didn't come to show up. They didn't come play, but when they beat those teams, those two quality teams, they showed glimpses of what they could be.
Right.
So adding the receiver to help your young quarterback, adding the defensive lineman that you needed, and then adding Sauce.
Mm-hmm.
You just improved your defense and your offense, and you still like Ryan says, you still have 5 picks to go.
Yeah, it's amazing. Cool says NFC Beast, BS3 Network. Thank you. Good morning to you as well.
Good morning.
Cool, excited, amped, Hurts season, repping for his QB. I don't blame you. 6 says these rookies might be happy to be in the league, but common in the training camp, the vets are going to be busting their behinds. You know they are.
Of course.
You know they are. And of course, Cool going Ric Flair. Woo!
Oh man.
Oh, this question. I'm sorry, I should not impose. You have a few more minutes, Sam.
I got all the time in the world today.
Cool. All right, because I think this would be great to have you here. As Cool says, question, guys, do you think Kenny Pickett was the better QB for the Steelers than Malik Willis? And where do you think Willis will go? Before you all answer that, let me bring on the another guest, an esteemed guest, the owner, the operator, the manipulator of the BS3 Network, Mr. Brian Sutter III. Good morning,
What's
sir.
Going on? What's going on? What's going on? Good morning. Can you guys hear me clearly? I'm driving into work this morning.
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah, we hear you fine. All right. So did you hear the question, Ben?
Oh, no. I have a question at all.
Okay. Well, so
I'm ready to talk.
Okay. Well, Cool asked this question. I'm throwing it to the panel. Do you think Kenny Pickett was the better quarterback for the Steelers than Malik Willis? And where do you think Willis will go since he didn't get drafted in the first round?
So I'll say no. I don't think Kenny Pickett was the right pick. I do think Malik Willis would have been the right pick just based on what they were planning to do anyway, probably with Haskins. So to me, it seemed like that would have possibly been a good selection. And honestly, who has Pittsburgh really played, and who have they really beat throughout his entire time there? I'm not that excited about that pick. I'm interested to hear what Steeler Nation has to say, but I would have did Malik. Now, going into this next round, I'm not sure who's going to try to pick him up, but I'm sure it'll be one of the top QBs off the board, though. Probably the top QB off the board.
All right. Wise, what do you think?
Well, since he dropped to the second round, right? And we did not sign Daniel Jones to his 5th-year option, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we picked 4th in the round, and the 3 guys ahead of us don't really need quarterbacks.
God.
Oh man, that'd be an embarrassment of riches if that.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, because Tampa Bay don't really need a quarterback right now. Minnesota doesn't need a quarterback.
But
maybe Tennessee.
But
yeah, Brady.
The Bucks could draft him and say, "Well, you get the room behind Brady for a year or 2."
Yeah, this is true. But there's a couple of options. Your Texans are right after.
That's. I'm hoping he drops that or the Texans move up to get him. I'm hoping because they like David Mills. He's okay. But this Malik Willis, that dude's a talent.
You like that, don't you? You like that, huh?
I do. I'm sorry, I do. Sam, but before I continue to just go la la land about Malik Willis being in a Texans uniform, what do you think?
I was surprised to see Pickett the choice. I think Trubisky is going to be the kind of bridge starter here. Mm-hmm. So with that being the case, I thought that they would go with Willis, who's a little bit less polished than Pickett. Pickett's a little bit more pro-ready. But with that being said, they go with the more pro-ready quarterback. Maybe they're not as sold on the guys in the building as I thought. And then as far as Malik Willis goes, I see him landing in Atlanta. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I think he's going to be the backup to Marcus Mariota in year 1 and then eventually take over in year 2.
Oh, I do not want to see him be wasted as a fucking. Oh, Lord, I said that on the mic. My bad. My bad. Okay. I work for a Steelers fan. So you asked this question, Ben, What does Steeler Nation think? They love the fact they got Kenny Pickett, considering that he went to college in Pitt, and he's basically staying in the city or staying in the area. My boss loves this Pickett fact. She said, "This is a quote." She said, "I can't wait to see who we pick at and put pick in bold letters tonight." So the area is ecstatic that Pickett ended up being the guy. But I really believe that Willis would have better suited the team, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but that's what I feel for.
Okay, and I'll just add on and say this wasn't really a deep QB draft. So honestly, I think they had to pick who they thought fit their team, and that's really what it came down to, because it's not deep. It was him and Willis. And that was pretty much it. Everybody else is kind of second tier.
Right. Oh, yeah. Totally agree with that. Six says, make the newcomers humble like the Iron Sheik, a.k.a. Sheiky Baby. Quote, the vets will make the newcomers humble. I always love how he says humble. Cool says, my bad, Sam. I got caught up in my euphoria from the A.J. Brown trade. Eagles Elite podcast is going to be jumping Wednesday night.
I will definitely make sure to catch that one.
Yeah. Six says, Cole, I just thought of something. As much as people are focused on the draft, there's still plenty of hidden gems among the undrafted for any year. And I believe there will be some in this year too. Where
this year might be interesting when it comes to the UDFA pool, because we got the XFL and the USFL also looking at those players.
I was about to say the pool is actually going to be broader because you have other leagues looking at these talents. Yeah,
exactly.
I was about to say that. Cool says, I'm glad we got a solid O-line. Rieger needs to go. Man, that is cold. Sam is spot on. That man knows his stuff. Yes, he does. That's one reason why we roll with him, because this guy knows his football for sure.
I appreciate that greatly.
Ryan says, I want to thank the Philadelphia Eagles for Joe Douglas as well.
Yeah, while we're at it, you're welcome, Cleveland, for Andrew Berry, too.
Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. All right, so, and this is why I love this show. So right now, for all of you who are seeing this, I have a Giant fan, an Eagles fan, and a Cowboys fan currently on this broadcast. So I heard what the Giants fan thought about the draft. I've heard about what the Eagles fan thought about the draft. All right, Cowboys fan, what do you think about the first round?
I definitely thought it was interesting, and I was listening to what you guys were saying. All the wide receivers going off the board, I thought was really a clear-cut sign to kind of what Wise was saying, that this was a big wide receiver draft. I was not expecting A.J. Brown to be traded. It was very interesting to see Vrabel's reaction when he walked up and he kind of walked around. It looked like he wasn't necessarily in on that. And to me, that more so means that there was some tension there between A.J. Brown and the brass in Tennessee. So I thought it was an exciting first round. And always the first rounds are most of the time, rarely or mostly exciting and gives you the fans, what they need. The Jets definitely love what they did. Definitely love what the Giants did. It's gonna make the NFC East definitely more competitive. Now, on to the Cowboys. I don't know if you want me to touch on that yet.
Yeah, let's touch on it now. That's why I asked.
I'm a little sketchy on this guy. Now, I will say, shout out to him. He did go to Crowley High School, which is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So he's a Dallas product. But he was labeled as a penalty machine with 16 penalties. And what do the Cowboys need not to do? Yeah. Penalties. So, I don't know. I mean, Quay Walker, if they would have possibly been able to one pick up, they would have been able to get him. And then there was the offensive tackle that went below them that they could have maybe. I think a Taylor Lindenbaum, I believe was his last name.
The center from Iowa.
Center, yeah. So I'm a little nervous on this pick because we've had problems with penalties, and to me, this was the wrong direction to go. Some people, Cowboy Nation is in an uproar right now. If you've seen any Cowboy tweets, you would probably see that everybody's pretty pissed at this point. But I don't know. I'm not very high on him. We obviously do need to build an offensive line. Tyron Smith is falling apart. So if he's able to limit his penalties, he's a mauler.
Walker.
He is a mauler. That is the fact about that. He is very aggressive, but he is unpolished. So there'll be some training. There'll be some coaching him up. But if we can get him to a point to where he can limit the penalties, he will be a beast on this offensive line, which we have to rebuild.
Yeah, 6'5", 325. That dude is a beast. And Linderbaum, yes, he was the pick the Ravens got right below the Cowboys pick at 25. So was Cowboys fan understanding that they needed to retool that offensive line, considering that the wonderful pieces that y'all got in 2014, 15, 16 are now starting to show its wares, are starting to get older, and like you said, they seem to be a penalty gaff machine. Did you all want to get somebody on the line, or did you want to have, like I heard Michael Irvin on First Take say, get that wide receiver splash and have someone dynamic in that regard, and you all could say, well, we had the wonderful draft because we got the best player on the board?
I think Cowboy Nation knew we had to build this O-line, because if we look at the penalties, it was all across the board. The veterans, Tyron Smith, it was my guy that played, I think it was Connor Williams. Mm-hmm. Every single week we were waiting on him to get a penalty. So Cowboy Nation knew that we had to go O-line. I'm not necessarily on that best player on the board. I'm not one of those types of guys, unless it's a superstar type player, which I don't think there necessarily was one. And like Wise, going back to what Wise said, it's a deep wide receiver draft. We got Pickens. It's going to be hopefully available from Georgia. Meacham or Mitchie from Alabama. So I think that, Cowboy Nation knew we had to go O-line or defensive line because we lost some pieces there. But Jerry would have probably loved to get a splash, but we got needs that would affect us next year if we don't address them early.
Yeah, Ryan says, I'm more surprised the Cowboys didn't try to replace Randy Gregory by picking Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah, that would
have.
That's a wonderful point.
That's the steal by the Jets. That's the steal the Jets made. They came up, picked them up, and like I said, he was supposed to be projected as a top 10 pick.
Right.
And to fall that far down, and the Jets to come up and get him, right, and he was available to Dallas. He was available.
Yes, he was available for them.
So they just. But yeah, that was true. They could have used them to replace Randy Gregory.
Yeah, and then he probably would have been better served for the team. I'm sorry. Ryan said, quote, I do not want to see him wasted as, and I think I said Falcons. Oh, Lord, I said that on the mic. My bad. That needs to be an outtake.
Agreed.
Thank you, Ryan.
That should be the official channel trailer.
Thank you guys. Okay, so needs. Since rounds 2 and 3 are tonight, what would you want to see each of your 3 teams go after? I will start with Wise.
Keep building that offensive line. Even though we did do that through free agency, we brought in some Buffalo pieces. Just keep building. Just trying to get depth. And listen, if Willis is there, and like I said, we didn't sign Daniel Dime says, why not? Like, take that opportunity.
All right, Sam.
We got so many needs. I would be happy with just about anybody, but I really want to see them address the cornerback position in round 2, and then hopefully safety in round 3. And then after that, we can address defensive end depth and offensive line depth as well.
I agree. I think the secondary needs to be the concentrated effort for the Eagles. I totally
Yes,
agree
sir.
with you there. Ben, what would you like the Cowboys to get a focus on?
Yeah, I would have to say D-line because Gregory obviously was a staple on that line. So that's what I would be looking for them to go to because that's getting pressure. That's the name of the game in the NFL.
Yeah, I totally agree. And now that I have three good names here, I just had this one question to ask. Would any of you three love to have Deebo Samuel on your squad?
Of course.
And if so, what do you think it would take to get him?
I actually don't want him on my team, especially after the Brown trade. I think that he's trying to limit his value by saying he doesn't want to run the ball anymore. And that's a big reason why we saw him in the All-Pro market last season. You know, he was named an All-Pro for a reason, and it wasn't just because of his ability as a wide receiver. I was not surprised at all to see them put him on the trade block, but I think if Philly goes to get him, we got some major concerns in terms of who's going to be the odd man out. I mean, we just signed free agents. We've spent first-round draft picks, second-round picks. Yeah, I'm good on Deebo Samuel in Philly.
I would say I definitely want Deebo. I mean, the way he tore us up, and his flexibility of what he can do, I think he would be great. Do I think the Cowboys are going to even attempt to get him? No. So don't even make any sense for me to say what. I mean, it would have to be probably a pick and a player, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can understand that. All right.
That's another reason why is he's going to be way too expensive.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking that's why he will not be moved because I think the price will be too high for teams to want to get him.
Absolutely.
San Francisco don't want to trade him.
True.
No, well, of course they don't want to. They actually do want to resign him. The problem, I think, it's put out there that Deebo is homesick. I don't think it's that. I really believe it's value. I think the 49ers want to pay him one price, but Deebo feels as though he does more than just the wide receiver rate, so he needs to be paid at a higher rate. And I think that's where the problem comes. That's what I believe.
And in the words of Fat Joe, the absolute perfect timing to say this: today's price is not tomorrow's price.
That's awesome.
Well, it goes. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
My bad. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Y'all get it. Y'all know what I'm saying.
Yes. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Yes, I agree. All right. So, looking at the draft last night, which team are we not talking about that you all feel actually had a good draft?
That's a good question.
The Lions.
Really?
That's good. That's a good selection.
Listen, you bring your hometown boy to play to help with the defense, and then you go and you draft up, and you probably arguably get the best receiver in the draft.
People were drooling over Jameson Williams.
So yes, you have Jared Goff at quarterback, but but no, I think they did a heck of a job by doing what they did this draft.
You know, I was watching the draft last night. I found something the NFL Network said kind of funny. Imagine the roller coaster that Jared Goff just went through last night. His team trades way up the board, 20 spots. There's quarterbacks left and right still on the board. And then he drafts a wide receiver. He had to go from, oh, crap, here goes my job, to, oh nice. I got a new weapon. Let's do this.
Ben? A team that we are missing that actually had a good draft in your opinion?
The Ravens with the pick they got with the center, and then I know they traded away Marquise, but they got Kyle Hamilton, which is the Notre Dame safety. So they're looking to build pieces, make that line stronger, and continue to build that defense. So I would say actually the Ravens.
The only issue I have with the Ravens, and yes, I think the picks they made were solid. You have to give a quality weapon in wide receiver for Lamar Jackson, and that would be even if they still had Marquise Brown on the team. You can't have these slot. You can't have all these slot receivers. Yes, Sammy Watkins, I'm looking at you too. You can't have all these slot receivers be considered the ones that you're going to throw the ball to. You need to have someone who can stretch the field and someone who's big enough to actually block downfield for these running backs. And yes, Lamar Jackson too. But you can't. I really don't believe offensively the Ravens can make hay with slot receivers as wide receivers.
No, they have to expand the field for Lamar. They definitely needed that deep threat. Even though Hollywood Brown isn't really that deep of a threat, he doesn't really. He's again. They've have nothing but really slot receivers that they don't have anyone to really stretch the field for them. Yeah. So I would have tried to get one of these young receivers up there and see what I could do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a bad point, but I definitely think Brian's on the right track. That was a hell of a draft. Tyler Linderbaum's a top 10 pick. Kyle Hamilton's probably top 5. And they got them both after 15. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive. Another team that I just looked through and kind of think they had a pretty solid draft was Houston. I'm sure that's going to thrill you.
They drew my eye.
Yeah, I didn't expect them to pick Stingley, but I'm kind of happy they did.
Same.
I thought Sauce would go first.
Yeah. I thought that's where they were going to lean. And I could actually say Texans fan some are not happy with Stingley. They wanted Sauce.
Yeah.
But I like Stingley better, actually. Not that I dislike Sauce Gardner, because, I mean, he is a stud. But I'm actually glad they got Stingley because I think, they need to have someone with size, too, in the secondary. So, okay, I'm like, I can hang with that. And they decided to go offensive line, too. So, yes, I was happy with that. All right. A team on the board in the first round that you saw and you're like, okay, what in the world were they doing? I could be a better GM in the war room than they are. What team in your mind stuck out as a sore thumb and said they had a horrible draft last night?
That's a great question.
Yeah, I'll kick it off and I'll say the Cowboys. Like, I mean, Smith, he was a projected second round. The grades are all over the board as far as what his draft grade is. But yeah, I honestly thought that they could have picked someone better, and he played at Tulsa too. So this is, we're not talking about Power 5, right? He played at so it's not like it's a Power 5. And this is a big question mark. A lot of people saying this was the Taco Charlton pick, which maybe. Oh, good Lord! Let's not get on that topic. But so I think they had a very they was high on their board, but yeah, I think they probably had a "what are you doing?" That was a "what are you doing?" team in this first round.
Your Cowboys. Wow, now that's bold. Okay. All right. Sam?
New Orleans. I thought they needed to grab a quarterback. They passed on everybody that was on the board. They traded up to get a wide receiver that honestly, like, Olave is good. I just don't think he was worth what it took to trade up to get him. And you still had guys on the board like Pickens and Watson.
And Williams.
Exactly, and Williams too. So it was surprising to see that pick. And then their second pick, Trevor Penning. This was a guy that actually went to the Eagles in our group mock draft a couple days ago, and I'm just not sold on him. He was like the 35th ranked prospect on PFF's big board, and he's going in the first round. So, I mean, it seems kind of shocking to see him that high. They could have picked a quarterback and probably still gotten Penning with their second round pick, but ultimately we don't see that happen.
Saints is an interesting choice. And I think when I saw them extend Jameis Winston that's when I knew they're not looking for a quarterback, at least not in the first round. They may be looking for one, who's going to be holding the clipboard from this point forth, but unless it's, of course, Malik Willis. But outside of him, I just knew they weren't looking for a quarterback in the first round when I saw that they extended Winston, because I didn't think they were, actually.
Makes sense. I originally thought they'd take Ritter or Willis. I guess they still have the chance, like I said, to take him in the second round. I'm not even sure off the top of my head if they have a second round pick, but that might have affected their thinking on the whole draft selection process.
I believe they did. Why? So what do you think, brother?
Oh, man. Well, I was looking at the first round, and Ben kind of made a point with Dallas. Like, to me, I don't think he was the best available player if that's the route you was going. They've had, if there's a few more options that I would have went as far as where Dallas went, because I'm looking at everybody else, and everybody went with need. Only one I could really probably consider is probably Pittsburgh. I don't know if Kenny Pickett is worth that first round pick. I don't know if he is the answer to be a franchise quarterback. So if it's not Dallas, I would say it would be Pittsburgh.
Ben, I'm about to make you sick, man. Imagine if they had Michael Parsons lined up on one side and Jermaine Johnson the second lined up on the other.
Yeah, that would have been great. Wishful thinking, that would have been great.
Yeah. Ryan says the Ravens have picks at 45 and 76. That might be they might be able to take a receiver there in one of those picks. If George Pickens or Christian Watson slides down, they might be able to steal one of them. That's a good point, Ryan. And I think that's probably what they're thinking. Or Sky Moore. Yeah. And Cool says, we had a Dallas fan on the show, and he was not pleased with the pick at all. Well, I can understand that too. I don't think I would be. Considering because, I saw the rating for him was second round. I agree. I agree with that. Well, I would love to continue this, but I know you all have to do other things. Where can the people find you, Sam?
Shady Sports Network at YouTube. We're also on Spotify. We just recently got on there, so I'm trying to make a big push on followers there as well. Basically everywhere, primarily YouTube and Spotify right now, though.
All right. Mr. Sutterth, where can they find you, sir?
Yes, sir. So at BS3 Network, all avenues of social media, bs3network.com. Also, BS3 TV Live, where you can find all of it's the website for the Roku channel. If you don't have a Roku device, if you do, please add BS3 TV on your Roku TV or device.
That's right, because you'll be able to see this show amongst others on it.
Yes,
Look, you all are such great guests, man, and I love spending time with the both of you. Sam of Shady Sports Network, Ben Sutter III of BS3 Network, BS3 Sports, and all other content. Fellas, thank you so much for chopping up with us about the NFL Draft Round 1. I appreciate it. And Sam, we will get to the USFL talk next week for sure.
Oh, that's perfectly okay. I knew with the NFL draft last night we were going to be talking NFL today for sure.
Yeah,
so
I figured
we'll just have to cover 2 weeks next week. That's okay.
That's fine. We could definitely do that. Not a problem.
Cool. Thanks, Cole. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day. Wise, it was awesome speaking with you. Same with you, Ben. I hope you guys all have a great day, great weekend, and I'll catch you next week.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Appreciate you.
No problem. All right. You too. That is Ben Sutter III of BS3 Network, and also Sam of Shady Sports Network. We will take a pause for the cause, and then when we come back, I believe we're going to enter the boom shakalaka. Chris Bass will join Wise and me right after this.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here. I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
You're so right for me, and I'm right for you. I love the things you do, like sweet tasting wine. Your lips are so divine. Your loving turns me on. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go, babe. I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Well, Dr. K, it is official SIT born. That's how you can get with us on Instagram and on Twitter. That's how you can operate this Instagram or Twitter thing, official SIT Morn. That is the official address. Welcome back to Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. I am one half of that dynamic duo, Cole Johnson. The other that you see on the screen is not Brian Snow. He is convalescing at home. Thank God. And we will see him sooner rather than later. But joining me right now is Wise El Jefe. And he will be with us for the rest of the day. But also joining us right now is the man who is into the boom shakalaka. That is him, Mr. Chris Bass. How are you, sir?
Oh, that was nice. That was beautiful, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Nice, nice. Good morning, gentlemen. How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning.
Man, I am doing good, man. All right, so we have NBA playoffs. We have the NFL draft. We could talk about so many different things in sports, but I get the feeling there's other things that's on your mind. So let's have it, sir. What is on it?
Well, thank you. The main thing came on my mind when I was watching TNT's Inside the NBA, which is one of my favorite middle, post. I mean, they just got on lock in any sport, any profession. So when I was checking it out a couple of days ago, they were having a discussion about 76ers coach Doc Rivers. And they played a clip from Doc, and Doc sounded like he was defending himself. and it sounded like he was almost like Yaz out already the way he sounded. I'm like, dude, don't put your resume out there yet. The Lakers' job will still be there.
Oh no! Don't doom him there.
Look, man, I'm just saying the way he talked is like, okay, I'm packing my bags, leaving Philly as soon as I can. Now, as we know, they won and beat the Raptors 132-97 for the 4-2 sweep. But yeah, it did come off kind of defensive. And so on the panel, Shaq was saying that coaching doesn't matter, which I looked at him like, you got to be kidding me. And so, of course, everybody else on the panel, Ernie and Chuck and Kenny was like, no, it has to matter.
Mm-hmm.
It has to matter. You are the coach. Now, it doesn't matter in L.A. because you have no autonomy whatsoever. But as far as coaching goes, traditionally, you build the team, you build the assistants, you build everybody to coordinate, whatever you want to build, and then take it from there. But if there is responsibility. And so Shaq was going on and saying about, well, when we have Phil, as Phil Jackson referring to, that was on us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he gave you the plays.
Yeah.
If you just got to take responsibility. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate Shaq's candid honesty about if it's on me and I'm driving the bus, that's my responsibility. I got that. But it's you and 4 of the people, and then you got the other people sitting on the bench and the coaches and the head coach. You cannot rule out the coach. I'm telling you, it just seemed kind of odd to me he would say that.
I almost get the feeling with Doc Rivers that whenever his team is up a big amount in a series, that whenever he sees number 3 on his team, the noose gets tightened on his own neck, because I think he does not want to answer the questions of, okay, what if it's going to be a repeat of the series that we played? I think it was back in 2003 when I was in Orlando. All right, what about the series that I was when I was a Clipper head coach in 2015? We blew a 3-1 series lead to the Rockets. I don't want him to have that type of angst. But it seems like you, I think, so adroitly pointed out, he seems to have that feeling that the noose is tightening.
Well, when you got the shadow of Mike D'Antoni,
oh Lord,
waiting in the wings, like this you've been hearing D'Antoni's name since Morley got there, and then especially after they got Harden. All you hear is D'Antoni this, D'Antoni that. If Doc doesn't make it out of this round, or if Doc doesn't do well in the playoffs, so I guess he felt he needed to address the situation, and it did sound like he was making excuses and that he was ready. He already had one foot out the door. No. But he had some valid points.
Yeah, but okay, for example, when was Doc Rivers coaching the Orlando Magic? Around what year was that?
Like between 2000 to 2005-06, around that era.
Certain human beings weren't even born yet.
Yeah, true.
I mean, come on. I mean, it's one of those things where it came off like as, look, I'm a fan of music. Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, I said it often.
Yes, exactly. So you give all the resume you want to. I am for what he did, especially in Boston. That was a hell of an accomplishment. Got the big 3 together. And I was watching Kevin Garnett's documentary, about anything is possible. It covered that obviously, and I love Doc Rivers. So Doc Rivers is from Illinois, from Maywood, which is not too far from here in Chicago. So I got mad love. In fact, I remember Doc when he was playing at Marquette. So I go way back to Doc. So I got all the respect for him. But right now, it just there's something about responsibility and taking the hit for certain things, and not pushing on somebody else and not passing the buck to people. No, Doc, it's on you. Now you got out of this one, from the win, obviously.
Skin of your teeth, yeah.
And not even teeth. It's like not even teeth to the point. Cole, he's like bald headed in the mouth. You got no teethus, damn me, at this point.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, really, so it gets to a point you have to realize that something else is going on. I don't know if management shook him and say, no, Doc, if you don't get us out of here, we're going to fire your ass. I don't know what it is. The whole thing just seemed kind of strange.
Yeah.
And you don't need that type of rhetoric especially when you're trying to get out the playoffs. Now, as you've seen, he got out of round one. But what if something else happens again? What if it comes up again during a conversation or during a presser and go back to being defensive again? As a player, how would you feel?
Yeah. And considering that they're going up against the Heat, which that caliber of a team is far greater than the Raptors, I think that will be revisited, which I feel for Glenn.
Yeah.
I feel for him.
He going to go on with his birth name.
Yeah, I have to on that one. 6 says Uncle Chris is in the house.
What's up, man?
Cool says feel the bass. I love that.
That's right.
6 says Doc Rivers needs to see a therapist. I think he might. And Cool says, if you fire Doc, why downgrade? D'Antoni is not an upgrade at all. I do not want to hijack the rest of Into the Boom Shakalaka because I do not want to talk about how inept a head coach Mike D'Antoni is.
Oh, please continue.
Oh, you ain't got to tell. You got two teams here that had D'Antoni as a head coach. You had the New York Knicks and the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
So yeah, we know about D'Antoni.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And if this is an angle, this will probably cool your heart, Base. If this is an angle that was actually put forth by Negro Knight, that James Harden is angling for this to happen on purpose, which that almost makes me want to vomit when I think about it.
You know, we have to live with what we have with these players. I'm all for players getting power because, as you know, the NBA is more player driven, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes you can abuse it, and sometimes people just don't understand it.
Right.
On a side note, I wish, but they won't do it, that they would get rid of Jeff Van Ugly on the side of the calling the games. I can't stand dude. I like him as a coach, and I sure as hell don't like him as a commentator.
Okay. Why do you call him Van Ugly?
Take a look.
He's got a point.
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, so all right, so he looked like he was wearing a toupee when he was holding on to Larry Johnson's leg when he was trying to break up that fight.
It was Alonzo Mourning's leg. It was Alonzo Mourning's leg.
Sorry. Thank you. Sorry, Knicks fan. I'm sorry.
No, but it's he has a point though. Well, he has a face for radio.
Oh no.
Yeah. When they cut to him, they really should give you like an advisor on the screen.
Oh Lord have mercy.
Just kind of like turn away now. What kind of reminds me of the Amazon Prime commercial with Medusa?
Yeah.
She's snaking around with her snaky ass and turning motherfuckers to stone like that. Yeah, it's kind of like that. And I'm sorry to cuss on Friday morning, but I had to begin. But it's just the fact that bottom. I mean, I go back to Jeff Van Ugly when he was a coach back in the day when we were, playing them against the Bulls.
Right.
And he would say all this crap in the newspapers and the press, calling Phil Jackson the Chief Triangle and all that stuff. Like, dude, you can't talk about anybody.
Chief
anybody.
Like he was
nobody.
an Indian, like he was an Indian tribal chief. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean all that stuff. And I get it. It's psychological warfare. Look.
Jordan's a con man. Yeah.
My grandson, Emery, who will be a year in June, looks far better than Jeff Van Ugly ever will. He just got here.
Just the Van Ugly is hilarious. That's the part that gets me.
Stan don't help either.
Oh, no, I don't even want to talk about Stan.
You know what? If I had to pick between Stan and Jeff Van Ugly, I probably gotta go with Stan. I don't like either one of them, but if I had someone that forced me to pick one, anybody but Jeff.
Oh my gosh, Jeff Van Ugly. Yes, you come up with these names: Negro Knight for Stephen A. Smith, Jeff Van Ugly for Jeff Van Gundy. Lord have mercy. 6 says Doc Rivers needs to have a talk with James Harden with a pair of clippers on the table. Oh yeah, I think you need more than just a pair of clippers. But again, I won't hijack talking ill about Harden either. 6 says, well, Marcus Camby was responsible for the scar on Van Gundy's eyebrow. I'm sorry.
Well, that's great. That's good. It didn't improve his looks, but Marcus can be tried.
And cool, pretty butts typifies what I feel right now.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, just goddamn you get tired of this type of thing, and and you tried. See, I try to be a fan of these broadcasts, obviously, but we had this conversation before. Certain broadcasters just don't hit it. Once again, the NFL. And we talked about trying to be cool boy.
Oh Lord. Why do you have such slander toward Joe Buck? Oh my gosh!
As I said before, his father was a fantastic broadcaster.
Yes, I love Jack.
Jack broke the mold. Jack was a game changer.
Yes, he was.
But what's his name again?
Joe Buck.
Damn it, Joe Buck. Just once again, and I reiterate, I'll give him a skill set to what he does. He wouldn't be where he is right now and not have the skill set.
Right.
But he tries too hard to be cool. He tries his damnedest. Dude, you're not cool. You suck.
Oh, God.
When it comes to trying to be cool, don't do that. I mean, it's disgusting. The man is maybe late 30s, 40s now, however old he is?
Oh, no, he's definitely not in his 30s. He's probably close to 60 now.
Okay, there you go. I was trying to be kind. AARP.
Oh, no.
I mean, give free stuff. Go to Dunkin' Donuts, get your coffee and donut, for free. I ain't mad at it. Go on, get it.
My bad. He's actually he's approaching his mid-50s.
Okay.
But that's just cold.
Well, I can't talk. I mean, I'm in my mid-50s, but I'm not trying to, walk around here trying to be cool.
Right.
It's a whole different, it's just disgusting. You ever see old people get up and dance?
Oh,
and they think they're doing something, and God bless them. God bless their ministries. But then the Bengay kicks in.
Oh, my.
And then Arthur kicks in. I mean, arthritis. And they can't do anymore. God alone, they got to sit down.
All right. So, quick story. So, when I got married, which is now almost 12 years ago.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, sir. I was enjoying myself at the reception. Everything was fine. When all of a sudden I hear Crazy in Love by Beyonce blare. And then all of a sudden I see my mother-in-law get on the dance floor and dance.
Mm-hmm.
And she dances to the part of, uh-oh, 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 I wanna. That part, right?
Right.
And then she tries to do the Beyonce uh-oh dance along with it.
Mm-hmm.
But we weren't sure what she was trying to do. So one of my groomsmen elbowed me and he says, Cole, look at your mother-in-law. It's like, okay. So what's she trying to do? Is she trying to do the MC Hammer typewriter dance? I was like, MC typewriter? I was like, oh no. And then I explained to him, I said, when Beyonce sticks her butt out and she tries to shake it, now it's called twerking.
Yes.
But, she tried to shake her butt out and do that. He says, yeah, that's what my mother-in-law is trying to do.
Mm.
So she feels as though she's Beyonce right now.
God love her.
Oh, I love
Yes.
my mother-in-law. I love her. She's a sweetheart and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But she made me laugh when she did that, though.
Man. Look, it's not easy. I remember one time I ran into a old college mate. Downtown Chicago, just bumped into her literally, and I haven't seen her in years. I was like, well, hey, why don't we connect and have lunch? And she was like, cool. I might have just been 20 years off, since I've seen her. So we have lunch, and she tells me, Bates, I got to tell you something, I was feeling you a little bit. Back in college. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, I was feeling you too, but you had a man. I don't want to, get in the way disrespect that. And then she says the following, yes, and you used to look good.
Oh, good. Wow. Doggone.
Now, it tickled me so much. Wait, can you say that again, please? Yeah, you used to look good. I said, well, no offense, you gained some poundage on your end of the table.
Can you say that again? Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Now, we're not, slim and trim like we were back in the day. We've gained poundage. Right. We both have. And I said, well, I don't want to use the word fat at the time. I was trying to be somewhat of a gentleman. I said, you gained some poundage yourself. Oh yeah, but I make it work. Oh, I'm sorry. So you fat over there can make it work. I'm fat over here, and I used to look good. Well, that's how it is. I said, well, tell you what, and I never did it before in my life until that. I called the waiter over. I said, itemize what I just had, and I'll pay for that, and I'm leaving. Don't get me wrong. I understand about people being, they love themselves. Nothing wrong with embracing your fatage, if you like. if you want to embrace all the love handles, and you used to have a number crack back there, you count Crackula. I understand it. This is who you are. But don't hate on anybody else. It's disgusting.
Last week you said Negro Night. This week you say Count Crackula. Oh Lord, have mercy. Oh, I'm sorry. And he also said baby Jesus is 6 pounds and 7 ounces.
Look, man. People try to. I'm not making this stuff up, man. People test me. I don't know why. I'm a man of peace, and they come after me. I don't know why. I don't come after people. I mind my own business.
People test you. Oh,
they test me. Yes, that's why I told you years ago. I started my own fraternity sorority. Me fi me.
I love that.
Me fi me.
I love that.
And I recruit everybody else.
I love that.
Yeah.
Me find me.
Me find me. That's right. But people come after me. I'm like, I don't deserve it. When I do my shows, you have some people, some knuckleheads in the comment section coming after me. I'm a peaceful man. I was almost a monk. So how dare you come after me? So that's all right. So that's when I started to pray to baby Jesus, 6 pounds, 7 ounces.
The fact that you come with the detail after baby Jesus, it's just hilarious to me.
It worked.
6 says, Chris, I see your point. You have a right to like or dislike whoever. Yeah, you do.
You do. But some people get blinded by, I don't know, their own self-worth. And I get it. You have to be confident to be fat walking around the earth. You have to be.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Okay.
So, I mean, no offense to fat. They know who they are. They're probably eating right now as we're doing this program.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Nothing wrong with a good old sandwich.
Oh, man.
Extra mayo and stuff like that. Yeah, man.
The opinions expressed by Chris Bass do not necessarily reflect those of Brian Snow, Cole Johnson, or Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
Oh, man, we got a disclaimer now. We got that bad. Oh, hell. Well, we're gonna need a disclaimer now. I'm sorry. I didn't mean No, but you have to nowadays because every community is offended.
Yeah,
everybody gets sensitive. Everybody's overly sensitive.
Yes, you
got that right. So no, you know what? Actually, you probably need to talk to Snowman. Actually, make one, just be on the safe side. Because look, man, I could rip, and I don't hold back.
But the thing is, I know I speak for Brian when I say this. I want you to rip. I do.
Oh well, thank you.
I want you to go ham. I'm sorry. I don't want to be considered Joe Buck, so let me not say that vernacular. I want you to simply go off.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
That's good. But ooh wee, man, it's it ain't easy. When I don't know what it is. I know I try my best to embrace people and to love people, and they just don't get it. So if you don't do the right thing by me, I got to do the right thing by you.
I hear that, bro.
I'm gonna kick you in your ass.
Reason why I love you, man, is you just that type of friend, that type of brother where it's like, man, if you act right, you're good. But if you don't, you get that act right by you.
Exactly.
And I love that. I
love you
that.
more.
That's right. 6 says, Chris is a black belt in Mind Chung Fu. He fights without fighting. It's psychological Aikido.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, my gung fu is strong.
I haven't heard that in years.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, gung fu.
Gung fu, that's right.
Oh my. Yeah. So I guess your killer move is hot lead. I feel you. Got you.
Oh, look, I was a Bruce Lee fan coming up, man. That was my guy, man. Every time I got a chance to watch his movies, and they only made 5 movies, but after the 5, well, look, I always call by the original title. You had The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, what was that? The Way of the Dragon, then Enter the Dragon, then The Game of Death.
Right.
Then after that, you had all of these imitators after he passed away. All these imitators. I go to the show, Bruce Lee. Now, you can't get more further than Bruce Lee. They're telling you he's not Bruce Lee. He's Bruce Lee, L-I-E. And Dragon Lee and all these imitators, it exploded. It's kind of like when Elvis passed away, all these Elvis imitators. After that, Bruce Lee had the same thing. It hurt my heart. Now, don't be wrong. I did go to a lot of Pam Grier movies.
I wonder why.
Oh yeah, my knucklehead man. Look, I wouldn't go to the show with my friends because I needed Pam all to myself. So I would get to the show, pay the admission, get my hot dogs and popcorn and drink. Gave me a tray. I go up front because I want to see everything that Pam had to expose, which is why I got a crick in my neck right now. So I would watch Pam. And then I would lean back. I lean back and just watch all her glory.
Oh, Lord.
And I got neck pains right to this day from leaning back too much, but it was worth it.
Oh, Lord. So Chris
Pam
Space
Grier made a man out of me.
So Chris Space was Fat Joe in seeing Pam Grier movies. Okay.
I'm telling you, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, well, yeah. Pam Grier, is still a beautiful woman. Definitely was back in the 70s and early 80s for sure. No question about that. 6 says, I offend people and let them know I do so because they're attractive and when they're angry. Yeah, true. And he also says, I'm sure Bass likes his coffee hot.
Nice. Yeah, man.
All right, so you've talked about people who, I guess, get on your bad side in terms of looks and opinions. You mentioned Jeff Van Gundy, call him Jeff Van Ugly. You mentioned Stephen A. Smith as 1, Screaming A. Smith, and 2, now Negro Knight.
Yes, he is.
Is there anyone or any few out there that makes you, the base man, say, you know what? As a sports personality, sports analyst, reporter, journalist, I actually like what you do.
Let's see. Before he retired, but I think it's a semi-retirement. I think he'll go over to Amazon. Always liked. What's the brother's name? Hold on. Let me think of another one real quick. Elle Duncan, who I think really needs.
Underrated.
I like her reporting. She's very solid, very spot on. I see every now and again. She's on now, doing the Get Up program because everybody else is in Las Vegas. Let's see what else I like.
Yeah, Elle is underrated actually.
Yeah, she's very underrated. Yeah, she needs to go solo somewhere.
Yeah.
Marv Albert. And really, it got to the point where Marv became the prototype. Even I noticed that Kevin Harlan, who replaced him, his pitch and cadence is similar to Marv's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Bob Costas.
Yeah, I love Bob Costas. I always have. Always loved him. Yeah.
Dan Patrick.
Yeah. All right.
See, I don't go for the theatrics, like a Screaming A. Smith. And someone sent me a video because they know I can't stand his ass, and they sent me a video of him at his home, and it was about an hour or some change. I did see half of it, and I understand what he's going. Look, when he broke down about his humble beginnings and his family and everything else. First of all, I get credit is due. He got a nice crib, man.
Oh gosh, yeah, the crib is nice.
That is laid out. It is laid out. But you get what? I don't you get what $8 million a year. I mean, and he said the money didn't start kicking until a couple of years ago. He said in the interview piece. But I give him credit when credit is due. But again, just the act that he does, and he says that it's him. No, it's an act. I'm not buying the fact that that's me. No, that's an act. So the act I can't stand, but the other names I just mentioned, I like their style. They're very low key. They get the job done, and I'm a fan of their works.
I got you. And I think the name you're looking for is Al Michaels.
Another great.
Yeah. And I'm with you. I like the no bull approach to sports broadcasters, play-by-play people, color guys, and yes, talking heads too.
Yeah. What was the guy that was on Fox Sports 1? Was it Jason Whitlock?
I think he's still on Fox.
No, he's not on Fox anymore.
Oh no, I'm saying I'm sorry, he's on Outkick the Coverage now.
Okay, but he used to be on Fox Sports 1.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry.
See, another Negro who should go somewhere and sit down and pick cotton.
Yeah.
That dude.
That ridiculous.
To me, he finds it enjoyable degrading black men, and I don't agree with how he treats black men, and it's and like, how do you attack your own? How do you attack your own that way? Like,
yeah,
I don't understand. Instead of uplifting us and trying to protect us, you over here bashing us, and the way he does it is just he does it for clicks and views. So I agree with you 100%. He to me, he ain't worth the whatever the contract. He's just not, to me, he's just not a very good person.
Well, the thing about El Jefe, the reason why he can do it because he thinks he's better than everybody else. He thinks he's, I hate to say it, not to put race into it, he probably thinks he's white. And he's able to do these things because he has the backing of programming.
Well, true.
So he's in there doing this, and I know hate is a strong word, but I hate him. And that rap bastard. I remember when I was teaching talk radio here in Chicago at the Illinois Media School, IMS, and I told my students to watch him. And like, why, Mr. Bass? Because that's what you should not want to be.
That's what you should not be. Mm-hmm.
You should not. That's the perfect example of what you should not be.
Look, I understand that people have their place, and unfortunately, Jason Whitlock has his. I'm with both of you. I sometimes look at him, and the reason why I say that I think he's still on Fox is because he on Fox News still actually is now a contributor on the show, on different shows on the network now, and most of it is not sports related. Of course, it is conservative, bit leaning in whatever takes they bring him on to pontificate upon. So there's a place for guys like him, yes. However, if you're going to be in that lane, you do not have to. You do not have to just simply serve the same type of tired points that other people seem to want to have you say if you lean in that direction. Like, it just mention Colin Kaepernick to him, you already know he's going to lampoon him. You already know that before he even opens his mouth. Yeah, and my overall opinion of him is, look, he stood for something. I think that was great. I wish he actually was a little more, how can I say this? A little more organized in how he would approach doing things. But of course, behind the scenes, he is to a degree. But, I wish he was more vocal, but I understand why he isn't.
Right.
But I'm not going to simply look at him and say, okay, this tired Negro needs to go simply because he's disrespecting the flag. No. It's a whole lot more than that. And then you get it all twisted and bent and mixed up. And then you find yourself being a hypocrite because you say he should simply be gone and be fired and not set foot on the field, and still say that. Yet you'll support a coach who knelt in prayer. The school got up out of there because they didn't want to have the Colin Kaepernick issue brought upon them. And you have someone argue to the Supreme Court, well, this guy is protected by the Constitution. Well, if this coach is protected by the Constitution for kneeling, why is it the other guy who's kneeling is deserving to get pink slipped and black and ostracized from a league?
Oh yeah, the classic double standard.
Yeah.
You didn't see anything when Tim Tebow was taking the knee.
Right.
Yeah, and all nice and quiet, and everybody liked and everything else.
Yeah.
And the sad thing about Colin Kaepernick's situation was because he was taking the knee in protest of people of color with racist cops.
Right.
That was the reason why he took the knee. In fact, was going to pick you out of it because he's taking the knee. No, he got the idea from a war veteran.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, from Marine.
Navy SEAL.
Exactly.
Navy SEAL.
Right.
SEAL,
So
yes,
see,
SEAL,
nobody
SEAL.
talks about that part.
Yeah. From the Navy SEAL.
Exactly.
Yes.
So again, it was just nice as far as we were concerned, a certain mindset, but to others, it was a disgrace because, as you know, the military was paying money.
Exactly.
During the NFL games, you see all the pomp and circumstance, the flags on the field, the jets going over the Coliseums and everything else. And then you pan over to the 49ers, and there's this big light-skinned Afro-mite, on his knee. And it doesn't look good. From the standpoint of the military and their money, we could take our money and go else. No. Bring your money back here. We'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they put the spin doctor on him, but it was completely unfair, as we know. But you understand something. When money's in the way, you have to find a way for the money to keep on flowing. Church folks told me one time, baby, you don't mess with the church's money. You don't do that.
Yeah. That's what I found just in all of that. Just thinking about Jason Whitlock, it's like, okay, it's like you just simply sniff whatever is the conservative take on whatever the sports topic is, and you run to it like like it's some hoe that you want to plow. I don't get it.
And that's really an offense to hoes all over the nation. They out here doing their best. Some sell themselves for $2, and they eat whole cakes, and they need substance and doing the best they can.
Oh Lord! But that's, to me, when I think of Jason Whitlock, that's what I envision. I envision a guy who is just so hungry for the juice box, and the juice box basically is whatever conservative topic it is, or conservative leaning topic it is for whatever sports topic that he's talking about, and he just dives headlong into it. And either he will service them with the joystick, or he will just lick them clean. One or the other. But it's just it's disgusting, and he just acts like a whore on TV. And it's like, come on, dude, you're supposed to be more intelligent than that.
Well, but again, you get that bag, you get that check. Remember the scene from Trading Places where Billy Ray Valentine's in the Duke's car? He saw the phones, he looked around, and had the cigars and the yak. No, I can hang out with you guys a little bit longer. And that's what happens with a lot of people. They once again do a lot of things strange for a piece of change.
Mm-hmm.
It's done every day. And so going back to Whitlock, you know exactly what you're doing. You've chosen the path of going after your own people. And there are consequences to that. Anything that we do, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Right. And when it comes to, I try to support my people. As a fellow broadcaster, especially people of color, I try to support. But in that situation, hell nope.
How could you? That's where I am. How could you support that?
Yeah, I can't do it.
Because you would think this is the thought I've had ever since I laid eyes on him in whatever he would talk about. It's like, okay, so if you're going to say this about someone who is my hue, then what would you say about me and how I view whatever it is? Because I mean, I don't step to certain temperaments either. I don't do that, but I'm not going to go out of my way to just simply lampoon someone because it's the conservative thing to do. It just isn't right. And it's biased. I mean, all right.
Well, real quick, the reason I started watching Whitlock, the debate show with, I think it was his name, LeVar Arrington, former NFL player.
Yeah.
And they're going back and forth. Now, mind you, just stating the obvious, LeVar played the game.
Yes, he did.
And Jason, you can't even sniff their jock strap, let alone try to get in the same conversation with them. And he told them he was wrong from a perspective. I'm just paraphrasing the conversation, that just because you played the game don't make you understand. That's for some stupid stuff that Jason said. I'm like, dude, you're completely out of pocket, and for that reason, you're out. And I call off the TV because some of these sportscasters and reporters are frustrated jocks who never made it out of high school, if that, and became writers and became part of the media, and they're still jealous. And then some of these people, and it comes out in drips and drabs every now and again when they're on the set with certain former players, and it's just not right. You couldn't cut it for some reason. You probably just been, look, some people just have to admit the fact they should have been on the poo butt league.
You bringing up terms I haven't heard in decades, man.
Really,
oh
poo
my
butt,
God.
Poo butt league. Just sit your ass, your narrow ass down there, and you realize that you just don't belong. You don't even start. You're not even fit to be the water boy. So shut up.
Oh man.
So I think Whitlock attempted to play football at one point. I was reading his bio at one point. He could have lied about that. What did he say in his bio?
I think he played football in college. I think.
Okay. I'm sure it
All
wasn't
State would
anything
be
spectacular.
what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't anything. It was just spectacular. But since you played it, you should have more of an understanding.
That's why I have an issue with it right there. And he played offensive line at Ball State. That's why I had the issue with him. You actually played the sport, but you're going to argue up and down with someone who actually played it at a higher level than you
because
and claim that they're wrong.
Yeah. It's I think it's as simple as that. Sometimes we dissect too much, but the way it come off, it was like, dude, you're just jealous because you didn't achieve it. And you sit next to somebody who actually did it and not you.
Right.
Get over yourself.
Yeah.
Go look, get you a binky, take a nap.
Look, I played offensive lineman my doggone self, but if I get a chance to interview Orlando Pace, I'm not going to say to him up and down, well, doggone it, fool, you don't know what you're talking about. He played the same position I did at a much higher level than I did.
Oh, yes.
So what right would I have to say to him, no, dude, you're wrong?
Unless your ego was just that out of pocket.
Right.
Yeah.
He drives me up the wall with that too.
It's the damnedest of shame.
Yeah, it is. Six says, and talking about Colin Kaepernick and Nate Boyer. And that very same veteran, Nate Boyer, defended Colin Kaepernick for taking the knee. Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. Thank you for that. Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, Boyer's a former Green Beret. Also a Navy SEAL he was. But then again, once a Green Beret or it's a Green Beret. And I trained with them. You're right about that.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, I'll ask you this question. I think this is going to be interesting to get your take on it. So, Jason Whitlock, we pretty much understand the type of vibe he's on.
Mm-hmm.
As a black man yourself, and Wise, you can answer this too. Do you see Stephen A. Smith or Screaming A. Smith or Negro Knight in the same light as you do Jason Whitlock, or do you quantify it as, well, he may have my back in private, but in public, he puts on this persona and act that's a turnoff?
If I had to hang out with either one, I go with Screaming A. Smith, and this is why.
Mm-hmm.
I may not like his act, but I give him all the respect in the world for where he has started from and accomplished. To his credit, he was able to bring HBCUs into ESPN world. Never saw that before.
Right.
I give him credit for that.
I do too.
I see there is an alliance with black broadcasters and former sports athletes that come on there. There seems to be a camaraderie that he has as elder statesman. I give him credit for that. And that's about it. But that's enough, because the only way you make change from the inside.
Yeah.
And so for him to get into ESPN, now I will say this, I said it before, I wonder what would have happened if Stuart Scott stayed alive.
And I should have extended that point further. That was a great point you brought up last week. Okay, fine. Well, I could do it now. For those who don't understand the impact that Stuart Scott had, and he had a huge and profound impact upon me, and I never met the guy. How huge of an impact would you say to someone who may not know what a Stuart Scott did he have on the industry as a whole?
Think of, depending on your age range, a LeBron James, a Michael Jordan, a Magic Johnson, a Julius Dr. J. Irving, a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You only get one. But that one man has a tremendous impact that goes throughout the whole league. And Stuart Scott was that man for broadcasting.
Wow, that's a great answer. And the reason why I think he is so huge is because I think he was the one to give license to the rest of us to be who we are on the mic or in front of the camera, or on radio or reporting, and not have to compromise ourselves. We don't have to be black in appearance only. We keep, and I love that. Go ahead, Wise.
To me, he bought the streets, man. He bought the streets to he bought the streets to the ESPN, and he was the reason I watched the ESPN. I'm saying I'm a hip hop head. I'm a hip hop kid generation. Like I was born in the 70s, raised in the 80s and 90s. So for him to use slang that I knew was profound. It was like, what? This is someone who speaks like me, who uses street slang like me. Who's I'm saying. So to have that and see that on a major platform is huge.
Yeah, and to borrow your point, Base, unlike Joe Buck, when Stuart Scott used those types of slang, it didn't sound like he was trying to fit in. It didn't sound like he was trying to do something that was appeasing other people. That was him. That was him.
Yes.
And that's what made it even better. The fact that this was his natural self, and he was letting his natural self shine. And we were starting to see others who understood that, okay, so you can be your natural, unapologetic self and still get the bag, and still be professional, and still be intelligent, and still actually have profound takes, and you can still respect everybody that you cover and everybody who's alongside you as well. And that just because you represent the streets doesn't mean you're gutter. It doesn't mean you're trash, and it doesn't mean that you're a thug. It just simply means you have the education and you have street knowledge too. That's all that means. That's all it means.
Book smart and street smart. You can't get any smarter than those two combined.
No.
And the great thing about Stuart, that Stuart was class personified.
I love that about him.
He loved that dude. Just loved what he was doing, whether it was the booyah or a cooler or other side of the pillow. Man, that warmed my heart. And that's the 1/4 of my Native American heart we're talking about here, man. I mean, he would just do it. And once again, going back to what my man said just now, El Jefe, dude, yeah, he looked like me. He sounded like me. He reminded me of other people that I knew. It was the most realist broadcast I ever seen in my lifetime. See, as a broadcaster, you try to find people that you gravitate towards for examples. And for me, coming up, doing talk radio, it was Stuart Scott and Travis Smiley before he lost his damn mind. But before he lost his damn mind, I like Travis Scott. I love Travis Smiley. I really did. Loved the brother until he went ape. And I haven't looked back since. But the skill set, you can never deny the talent. And going back to Stuart Scott, he paved the way for Screaming Nate Smith and Jamel Hill and Michael Smith and those guys and gals. He paved the way for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think another reason why we have that type of energy is because I think people who try to talk about Stuart Scott, I think people sell him short. And both of you said it best. This guy wasn't just street smart; he was book smart too, and he was full of class. And he spawned so many different people to come after him and attack this genre in so many different ways. That impact is felt even to this day, and it's going to still be felt because of that. Six says Stuart Scott was real. He simply was himself. Chicago born, Winston-Salem raised, North Carolina Chapel Hill alumnus. Yep.
That's right.
That is 100% true. All of that is true, Sick. Man. Let me ask one more question before I let you go, sir.
Not a problem, sir.
All right. So if you were to look out in the landscape today and see someone that not necessarily is like a Stuart Scott in terms of street vernacular and class, but one where he or she can change the game and is changing the game with just their presence alone, who is that figure today to you?
I would give two for the future. Monica McNutt and Bomani Jones.
I like Monica McNutt.
Yeah,
I love Monica McNutt.
I would pour into those two. I would invest into those two because they are the future of this genre. They are original. Obviously, they speak their minds. They're good. See me as a solo host, I look at people by themselves at times. When you're by yourself and you're still entertaining and still be able to captivate the audience, you have my attention, respect right off the bat. And so those two in particular have emerged as my favorites.
Yeah. Oh, Wise?
Oh, I love Monica McNutt. She does the Knicks. She does the Knicks game. She does ESPN. Right. She's all over the place right now. Mm-hmm. She is one of the hottest people out there, and I love the energy she brings. Mm-hmm. And she's not afraid to speak her mind. She's there. She's like I said, man, and she knows the game.
Yeah, but she's knowledgeable.
She is very knowledgeable of the game. This woman is amazing, and I agree with you with that. She's 100%. She is the future, and Bohemian just he's funny, man. He's not just sports. He's got a real funny sense of humor. He is hilarious, and the skits that he does, and so you pick two great people that people of color can emulate it and look at and be like, those are two of the realest people out there that are doing some great things.
What I like about Bomani is that he gives us permission to be in the sports lane and to be equal parts intellectual, humorous, quirky, off-center, and it still be entertaining and still good and still be black. And it's not just thrown in your face as, well, you know, this is a black man coming at you different. It's just this is Bomani Jones, a different part of the black experience. Same with Monica McNutt, and those are two great choices. I love those two a lot. I do. Man,
They bring it all the time.
They do. Man, I could continue this conversation forever because I just love just getting the knowledge and the entertainment from you at the same time, man.
Oh, well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Where can the people find you, good sir?
Oh, well, thank you, birthday man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
The best way to contact me is to go to Facebook and type in Chris Bass, CHRIS. And that's a B as in broadcasting, ASE. I hate to say this, but there are over 2,000 perpetrators with my name. They are not me. I am the original. You'll find me with these very same sunglasses on and a nice tan fedora cap. And I look very dapper. I look very debonair when I have this picture. So you see me, click that, and we can be friends. You get a chance to check out my social media programs. Please go tell 5 of your friends and 8 of your enemies that Chris Bass will always be in the air.
Oh my gosh, that one I love. 5 of your friends and 8 of your enemies. You're right. You tell enemies, it'll spread faster.
That's right.
This man joins us every single Friday. We enter the Boom Shakalaka at 9:35 Eastern every Friday. And the one thing I love about this segment is you don't know what you're going to get, but 2 things. You're going to get entertained and you're going to get educated at the same time. And I am always for that, no matter when we do this. Chris Bass, you are fast becoming my brother. I love you, man. Seriously, I do. I love you. And thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Man, I can't wait till we do this again next Friday, man.
Well, brother, I love you more than a damn thing you can do about it. It's too late. And the same with me and my man, El Jefe, man. Thank you so much, man. And your insight in what you do as well.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that.
All right, brothers. You take care. Have a good day.
You too. That is Chris Bass. That man is absolutely phenomenal. I love him. Love him. Well, that will conclude this edition and installment of Snowman in the Morning. Yes, I know we did not touch on the NBA, but I'll say it quickly. The 76ers, the Mavericks, and the Suns move on to the second round. We will touch more of that when the two of us will join you again on Monday.
Yes.
So where can the people find you, Mr. Wise El Jefe?
You can find me on all major platforms. Stuck in My Mind podcast. It's on Apple, Spotify, Google, TuneIn, everywhere podcasts can be found at. And on YouTube, it's Stuck in My Mind podcast.
And check this guy's stuff out, because if you think he is the bomb with sports, there's other topics where he could blow your mind too, and he's blown mine already. You can find me at Cole Sports with a Z. That's Cole Sports with a Z on YouTube. Just type in youtube.com/C/Cole Sports, again with a Z, and you will find takes and videos similar to this. I do some similar takes to what I do at Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, and I do takes a little different because, well, there's segments that are different in my world versus this world that I cohabitate. But it is still all in the same, because over there, I bring you the hottest of hot takes, the cold hard facts, and that's what we all try to do here. So for my man Wise El Jefe, for the convalescing Brian Snow, and for all of the guests who have come across, and the SITM family in the chat, all of you, Wise, Ryan, Andrew, Cool, all of you, love you, brothers, and love you, and Trisha, love you, Latina. This is Cole Johnson, and I will just say the following. Take care, God bless, and remember always, make your next move your best move. And if your dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. That's what Brian's doing. That's what I know Sam of Shady Sports is doing. Definitely know that's what Ben's doing. I know that's what Wise is doing. Other than chat, I know that's what you're doing. That's what I'm doing as well. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will touch on the NBA playoffs, because we'll have some conference semifinal action to talk about. And we'll, of course, talk about the other 6 rounds of the NFL draft, too. For all of us here at Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, I am Cole Johnson. Take care. Adios. Until Monday. Thank you for tuning in to Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. The hottest of hot takes and the coldest of cold, hard facts.